Good morning, dear students. So in the last class we have discussed regarding some of the basic concept, that is cell, tissue, organ system. That concept we have discussed. In the same way, in today's class let us discuss some important points with the building blocks of our life, or we can also term it as biomolecules. So related with this, some of the basic explanation or some of the basic terms we are going to discuss with the biomolecules concept. So all the life, I said, it is made up of a cell. Now what is there inside before going to the biomolecules, let us discuss what are the components seen inside a cell, or what the cell is made up of. The cell outer, it is surrounded by a membrane called as plasma membrane, or you can also say it as a cell membrane. Now inside the content, whatever the semi-fluid substance which is present inside the cell is called as protoplasm. And now this protoplasm, it is differentiated into cytoplasm and nucleus. Mainly it is differentiated into two regions. At the center, nucleus, and the distance between the nucleus and the plasma membrane is called as cytoplasm. Now in the cytoplasm we can see various different types of organelles distributed in the cytoplasm. Now the number of cells, it forms tissue, tissue forms organ, organ form organ system. So now all the cells, it requires the energy. Understood? All the cells, to perform its function or to perform the activity, it requires the energy. There is one word called as metabolism. Metabolism. So metabolism is one of the important physiological phenomena which occur inside the living system. Metabolism. So it is an important physiological activity which is carried out in the cell, or you can say it as a living system. Generally we will use it as a living system, or also you can say in a cell. So in the metabolism, there are two categories. One is anabolism, another one is catabolism. There are two main important component, or the two important phenomena, that is anabolism and catabolism. So what is this anabolism? Anabolism, in simple word, it is called as constructive process. Constructive process. ಏನು ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲರ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೇರಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಹಿಯರ್? ದ ಸಿಂಪ್ಲರ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ combine or fuses, or the simpler unit together, it forms a complex unit. This is constructive process. Which one? Anabolism. Then what about catabolism? It is called as destructive process. It is called as destructive process. So what is this destructive process means? It is reverse to this one. The complex unit is broken down. The complex unit is broken down into simpler unit. Whereas here the complex units are formed to form into simpler units are formed to form, they are combined or they are united to form a complex unit, whereas there the complex unit it is broken down into simpler unit. ಇದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬೂಂದಿ ಕಾಳು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ವೀಟ್ ಬೂಂದಿ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಸ್ವೀಟ್ ಬೂಂದಿನ ಹಂಗೂ ತಿನ್ಬೋದು, ಅದನ್ನು ಲಾಡು ಮಾಡೋರು ತಿನ್ಬೋದು. ಈಗ ಅದು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಇರೋವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಬೂಂದಿ ಲಾಡು ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಆ ಲಾಡುನ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಆ ಬೂಂದಿ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಕೆಟಬಾಲಿಸಮ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್. ಈಗ ಅದೇ ಬೂಂದಿ ಸ್ವೀಟ್ ಬೂಂದಿ ರೆಡಿ ಆಗಿರೋದನ್ನು ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಸೇರಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಉಂಡೆ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಅದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಅನಾಬಾಲಿಸಮ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್. Is it clear? So that is it is a very simple way to understand the complex. But hanganta ನೀವು ಕೆಟಬಾಲಿಸಮ್ ಅನಾಬಾಲಿಸಮ್ಗೆ ಆ ಬೂಂದಿಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಏನು ಬರೆಯೋದು ಬೇಡ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಅ ವೇ ಟು ಕನ್ವೆ, ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ವೇ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. Is it clear? So in anabolism what happens means the simpler units, they are joined or they are together, they result in a formation of complex unit. Whereas here what happens in catabolism means the complex units are broken down, it is broken, destructed to form a simpler unit. Understood? Now for the best example for the anabolism means simpler unit. Now let us take the glucose, what we are going to study now in biomolecule. The number of glucose units, they are joined together to form a complex unit called as carbohydrate. ಅದನ್ನ ಏನಂತೀವಿ, ಕಾರ್ಬೋಹೈಡ್ರೇಟ್. Carbohydrate, it is one of the biomolecule or it is one of the building blocks of life. That carbohydrate, how it is formed? It is formed by the fusion of number of glucose units. So hence it is constructive. Now if the carbohydrate is broken down, if it is broken down, it results in the liberation of glucose. Hence the catabolism, it is an energy liberating system. Understood? Hence energy is produced. But here the energy, whatever the glucose energy is there, it will be stored in the form of carbohydrate. Hence it is involved in storage. ಅಂದರೆ ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಊಟ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಷ್ಟು ಊಟನೂ whatever we have taken the nutrient, all the nutrient it is not utilized in our body. Some of the nutrient it will be stored in a complex form. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಒಂದು 2-3 ದಿನ ಉಪವಾಸ ಆದ್ರೂ ಸಾಯಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಆಗಿರೋಂಥ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಫುಡ್ಡು ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್. ದಟ್ ಸ್ಟೋರೇಜ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಆಗಿರೋಂಥ ಫುಡ್ಡು ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಲಿಬರೇಟ್ ದ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಇನ್ ಅವರ್ ಬಾಡಿ. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್? ಸೊ ಹೆನ್ಸ್ whatever the units excess nutrient is there, that nutrients will be stored. That is a phenomena seen where in anabolism. Is it clear? So very basic, what you have to understand in this basic classes means in the bridge course means just what is the meaning of anabolism and what is the meaning of catabolism. In detail for about this chapter we are going to study in respiration in plants in the first year. Understood? So anabolism, remember anabolism, it is a constructive process. Means the smaller units together they result in a formation of complex unit. Whereas in catabolism, if you remember one, the other one you can write it by your own. Whereas in catabolism what happens? The complex unit, whatever it is there, it will be broken down, and that broken down it is converted into a simpler units. That simpler units are the energy sources. Is it clear? So that is about the metabolism. So next we were discussing regarding the biomolecules. See children, we are not discussing anything in detail, just I am highlighting some of the basic terms what we are using in our upcoming classes. Related to that, just I am giving a brief summary. Understood? It is not completely, it is related with the chapter. Understood? Just I am giving some of the terms, basic terminologies what the biology student has. There are so many terminologies, so many concepts. Understood? Only just I am highlighting the concept. It is not in depth or it is not completely brief, just I am highlighting the concept. Now next, biomolecules. These are also called as building block of life, because all the living cells or the living system, it requires this for its growth and development. ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಲೈಫ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಆ ಲೈಫು ಬರೀ ಒಂದು ಸೆಲ್ ಇದ್ದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅದು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟು ದಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ರಿಟೈನ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಸೆಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಸೆಲ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಲಾಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಅದು ಗ್ರೋ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಅದು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಟ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಸ್ ದ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸೋರ್ಸಸ್. ದಟ್ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಆರ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡೆಡ್ ಟು ದ ಬಾಡಿ ಥ್ರೂ ದಿಸ್ biomolecules. Hence biomolecules they are called as building blocks of a life. So in this biomolecules chapter we are going to study some of the basic complex molecules. One is carbohydrate, second one is proteins, third one is lipids, fourth one is nucleic acid, fifth one is enzymes, minerals, vitamins, etc. Again it comes, but let us discuss with this basic points what you are going to study in the chapter biomolecules also. But I am not going to entirely discuss. See, each of the biomolecule, it has its own classification. Understood? It has its own classification, but here in today's class I am not going to explain in detail regarding the classification. So that classification, examples, everything we are going to discuss when we will start with the chapter. Understood? So what is this carbohydrate, what it is made up of, only regarding that we are going to study. So carbohydrate, it is a building block. This carbohydrate, it is made up of simple sugar units it is made up of simple sugar units, and that simple sugar units itself is called as monosaccharide. Understood? It is made up, it is called as monosaccharide. What is this? Wherever you come across with the word saccharide, it is related with the carbohydrate. Understood? Now in carbohydrate it is classified into two categories. One is monosaccharide and the another one is oligosaccharide. So that one, then what is this monosaccharide? It is made up of only one sugar unit. More than one, that is 2. 2 to 9 units, sugar units, it is called as oligosaccharide. Next, polysaccharide, it is made up of more than 10 or more than 9 sugar units, it is called as polysaccharide. Understood? Now each sugar units, now let us consider this is one sugar unit. Now the sugar units, they are connected with each other through a bond called as glycosidic linkage. ಅದನ್ನೇನಂತೀವಿ glycosidic linkage. each sugar unit, it is bound together by glycosidic linkage. Next to the carbohydrate, next we are going to discuss with proteins. Only this much is enough, just a basic concept. Next is proteins. The proteins are the another very important building blocks of our life. Without protein, the life cannot exist. The protein, the basic unit of the protein is made up of amino acid. Amino acids. It is made up of amino acid, not acid, amino acid. What is this amino acid? The amino acid, it contains carboxylic group as well as amino group. At one end it has a carboxylic group and the another end it has a amino group. Now, how many amino acids are there? There are total 20 amino acid. A dot A, wherever you write, it is considered as amino acid. So totally there are 20 amino acid till known, and that 20 amino acid, it is differentiated into two categories. One is essential and the another one is non-essential. Essential and non-essential. So what is this essential amino acid? The essential amino acid are the amino acid which is not synthesized in our body. Not synthesized in our body. Hence, they have to be consumed through food, or you can also say through diet. Which type of amino acid? Essential amino acid. So the essential amino acid, they have to be consumed from the food, or they have to be taken through in the form of food, or whatever the food substance or whatever the nutrient we consume, it contains the essential. It contains both essential and non-essential, but only the thing you have to remember means this essential amino acids, they are not synthesized in our body. In this 20, it is again differentiated into essential and non-essential. Whereas the non-essential amino acids are the amino acids which are secreted by our body, which is secreted, or you can also say which is synthesized, by our body, and hence this need not to be consumed in the form, or it is need not to be taken in the form of food, or it is not completely. ಈಗ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಅಮೈನೋ ಆಸಿಡ್ ಎಸೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಂಥಸೈಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಆ ಅಮೈನೋ ಆಸಿಡ್ ನಮಗೆ ಫುಡ್ಡಿಂದನೇ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ is synthesizing in our body, so hence it is need not to be consumed through food. So hence that is about the essential and non-essential. So essential are the amino acid which is consumed only through the food or through the diet. Our body, it will not secrete this amino acid. Which amino acid? Essential. Whereas non-essential are the amino acid which are secreted in our body, hence it is need not to be taken through the food. Even though if the food or nutrient it contains the non-essential amino acids, means it's also okay, no problem. ಹಂಗಂತ ಅದನ್ನೇನು ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮೇ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. It can be consumed even though if it is not available through the food andru kuda our body is ready to synthesize this amino acids. Understood? Now the very important thing, the amino acids, number of amino acids, they are linked to one another to form a polypeptide chain. or it is also called as protein. ನಾನು ಆವಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, carbohydrate, it is made up of simple sugar units, understood, or sugar units, whereas the protein, it is made up of amino acid. ಎಲ್ಲೇ ವರ್ಡ್ amino acid ಅಂತ ಬಂದರೆ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟಾಗಿ ನೆನಪಾಗಬೇಕೇನು, ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ಸ್. amino acid, group of amino acids ಇದೆ, that is nothing but a protein. Protein, the another very important term what we are using for the protein is polypeptide chain. Because why we are using polypeptide chain means the number of amino acid, poly refers to many, the number or several amino acid, it is linked to one another. I have written just 4, there will be many, understood, you can't just can't say the exact number, there will be many number of amino acids together, it will result in a formation of a polypeptide chain. So here you can see one word is there, peptide. What is this peptide? Andre each amino acid, they are together linked by a chain called as peptide bond. ಅಂತ ಬಾಂಡ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಎರಡು ಅಮೈನೋ ಆಸಿಡ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ ಬಾಂಡ್. ಅದೇ ಥರ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಶುಗರ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಇರೋ ಅಂಥ ಲಿಂಕೇಜ್ ಏನು, ಗ್ಲೈಕೋಸೈಡಿಕ್ ಲಿಂಕೇಜ್. whereas here it is peptide bond. Protein P, polypeptide chain, peptide bond, proteins. But the proteins, it is made up of amino acids. Understood? Is it clear? Now each amino acid, I said it is linked by a peptide bond. So now what is this amino acid made up of? The amino acid, on one end it has carboxylic group, on the another end it has amino group, and one there is a variable group. See, this is a basic structure of amino acid. Amino acid, one amino acid in basic structure ಇದು ಏನು, ಒಂದು ಎಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಬಾಕ್ಸಿಲಿಕ್ COH is a carboxylic group, whereas NH3, it is a amino group. Carboxylic group, amino group, H hydrogen, whereas R, it is a variable. What is this variable ಅಂತಂದರೆ, it varies. ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ವೇರಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರು ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಬಂದು ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಏನು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು HR ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ, ಇಲ್ಲ CH ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ, ಏನರಿಂದ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಇದನ್ನು ರಿಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾವುದನ್ನ ಆರನ್ನ. ಈ R ರಿಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಆದಂಗೂ ನಮಗೆ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ 20 ಅಮೈನೋ ಆಸಿಡ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. Is it clear? By replacing this group, R group, or in the R group due to the different molecule, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ, ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆದರೆ ಆ ಆಟಮ್, ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಆಟಮ್ ಬಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆದರೆ ಒಂದು ಅಮೈನೋ ಆ್ಯಸಿಡ್ಡು, ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ. ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಬೆನ್ಸಿನ್ ರಿಂಗ್ ಬಂದು ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆದರೆ ಅದೊಂದು ಅಮೈನೋ ಆ್ಯಸಿಡ್ಡು. ಸೊ the R, hence that R group, it is variable, it changes for different amino acid. Which one? The R group. Now how this peptide bond is formed? So the H of amino group and the OH of the carboxylic group liberates one water molecule, that is H2O. This liberation ultimately it forms a bond, ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, NH2CO. NH2CO. This itself is a peptide bond. ಒಂದು ವಾಟರ್ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು NH2CO ಬರುತ್ತೆ, that itself is a peptide bond. Understood? So this is about what? Proteins. Again the protein, it is classified into different types. Understood? So that different types and its example. Understood that we are going to dipeptide, tripeptide, polypeptide. So it depends on the number of peptide bonds or the number of amino acid we can say. So that we are going to discuss in the chapter while starting with the chapter. So that is about the protein. Next is fatty acid. Lipids are another very important biomolecule which is required for all the living system. So the lipids, it is made up of two units. One is fatty acid and glycerol. Fatty acid and glycerol yavdu lipids. Is it clear? So the fatty acid and glycerol together it forms a lipid, and the lipid further it is converted or it is classified into oils and fat. Understood? So that in detail we are going to study in the next class. Understood? Thank you.